like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
For more than 20 years, they've been taking the best or cheapest of city commercial television and serving it up to a captive audience. They've controlled the viewing habits of a generation, and some would say have done little to justify their existence other than to their shareholders. Regional television, the original money tree, is about to be uprooted. And the government preferred plan to achieve this is called aggregation. In the most simple terms, it means taking the 3 existing service areas of regional television stations and turning them into one huge operation. Now in North Queensland, huge is the key word, because an aggregation of the stations here means a coverage area extending from Cairns in the north down to Rockhampton in the south. That's 1,100 kilometres of coastline.
Here we go.
That new service area would amalgamate the current operations of Telecasters North Queensland, which runs TNQ7 Townsville and FNQ10 Cairns, with MVQ6 Mackay and RTQ7 in Rockhampton. It's a huge viewing area, but not populated enough, according to the station operators, to support 3-channel competition.
But we told the government that that won't work because in that approved market there's only about 400,000 to 500,000 people, and you need about 1 million people to support 3 competitive services. And this is borne out by the fact that in Adelaide, which has a bit over 1 million people, there's always one station there that's struggling to stay in the black.
David Astley is also General Manager of Telecasters North Queensland, far and away the biggest regional station in the state, and one which could expect a revenue drop of 40% if aggregation is adopted.
Because once you've got 3 competing services in that area, you have to share the revenue approximately 3 ways. So by going into Mackay and Rockhampton, we do pick up some additional audience, but then we have to share what we've got 3 ways, so it would mean, in fact, that our revenue base would decline.
There was no remits or anything, but we just had such a...
Telecasters earns about $17 million a year from its Townsville and Cairns operations. RTQ7 in Rockhampton weighs in with $10 million, and Mackay earns a modest $5 million. That's a combined market of around $32 million. Given the likelihood under aggregation that the 3 stations would have to take network feeds, that $32 million market would be split 3 ways. That, of course, means Mackay's revenue would double, while the other 2 would fall.
And now to 7 National News. Good evening.
There seems little doubt that aggregation will mean network programming. At the moment, viewers in Cairns, Townsville, Mackay and Rockhampton share a wide range of common programs, and that's because their individual stations have the opportunity to buy the programs they perceive to be the most successful from the individual networks. For example, all 3 stations show Perfect Match from 10, Sale of the Century from 9, and Country Practice, for example, from Channel 7. But all those individual programming policies will go out the window with aggregation. It's not too difficult to imagine the annoyance of the viewing public, for example, if they were to find themselves watching Dallas 3 times a week, with every chance of seeing the same episode twice. No, aggregation will mean networking, because to provide a different menu every day, the stations will have to align themselves with a metropolitan network.
The one-in, all-in rule, that's what's wrong with the immediate aggregation policy. It means that a small station, for example, could, upon prompting by some other major network in Australia, compel 2 unwilling partners to immediately aggregate.
ALP member for Herbert, Ted Lindsay, is one of a growing band of government backbenchers opposing the aggregation policy. They all want a better television service for their country electorates, but are not prepared to support the Hawke plan.
Hello, I'm April.
But anybody who lives in the country, anybody who relies on a regional television service for news, for production of local commercials, all of these things would have to be mad in the head not to support the submission from the regional television stations.
The advantage of phasing it in under the multi-channel service proposal and taking advantage of the economies of operating the services under one roof means that they get their free services, they get all of the content that you see in the capital cities, but they get to see it programmed complementary to each other, which means that, for example, when there's sport on one channel, there'll be a movie on the other channel, and something like, say, a documentary on the other channel, rather than having news and sport and movies all in the same time slot as they do in the capital cities, much to the frustration of the viewers there.
The regional television stations want the government to grant 2 supplementary licences to each existing service, with the promise of complementary programming and a reorganisation of ownership by 1996. The stations say it will provide a better than metropolitan service to country viewers and guarantee local employment.
We currently are producing about 7.5 hours per week of local production for the Townsville-Cairns region, and in addition to that we do specials from time to time on events of community interest.
Will we see that level of local production under aggregation?
It would be impossible to maintain that level of local production under aggregation because of the enormous capital and operating costs involved in extending the service into Mackay and Rockhampton.
There can be no denying the profitability of country television as it stands. Telecasters North Queensland has staved off a number of lucrative takeover attempts, and only a few years ago its value was placed higher than that of Brisbane's Channel O. But it doesn't appear that aggregation will benefit anyone in provincial Australia. The winners will come from Sydney.
Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye now.
The viewers are going to lose from aggregation because under the multi-channel service proposal they would get 3 services by 1990 anyway, but they'd get it with the local content and they'd get it with the complementary programming. They won't get the competition until 1996, but the multi-channel service method of equalisation does assure that competition is introduced to regional markets eventually. It's just that along the way they're going to get a much better service and maintain the local identity of their stations, which will be lost significantly under the aggregation proposals.
Well, who wins under aggregation?
Well, the networks certainly win under aggregation because they've got a guaranteed market for all of their programs. And once those affiliations have been established, there is a chance that they'll be able to charge what they want for their programming, and there'll be very little opportunity for regional stations to build their viability to a point where they can start producing local programs again.
I can assure you that we will use every avenue, both within the party and within the parliament, without breaching party discipline, to bring about the result that we wish.
Do you think the public pressure might go beyond and force you to breach party discipline?
No, I don't.
Not even if people say we're not happy with what we're going to get? We're going to get three networks coming in on us.
It won't get to that. It certainly won't get to that.
So you've got confidence that the groundswell of opinion from the country members will have an effect in caucus?
I'm certain it will.